Let's face it, we live in a world where quitting your 9 to 5 to start a business or become a content creator is just over-romanticized. We are all made to believe that it's living the dream. And don't get me wrong, I have had these thoughts too, because we all know our jobs can be sucky at times. The truth is that most jobs can lead to financial freedom, if you know what you're doing. And that's where we come in. Hi, I'm Shannon.
And I'm Adam, and we started this channel out of a pure passion for finance, people, and education.
I'm an accountant working for a Big Four audit firm.
And I'm an investment specialist with additional education in psychology and work at an asset manager. Our goal for this journey we are embarking on starting today is to create a community of money-minded people. If we're able to help even one person change their lives through the financial education videos we're planning to make, then we'll be super chuffed.
Thank you guys for giving us a moment to share our plans with you. We are super excited. And so this is video 1 of our 6-part series we're calling Boring But Successful, where we will cover the following topics. How a boring 9 to 5 can still lead to a fulfilling life, a simple yet effective payday routine, how to double your savings, how to invest for beginners, the power of compounding, and lastly, to round it all off and reflect on all the steps, signs you're doing well financially. I will be taking today's topic, which is how you can still live a great life with a boring job. I've been in the corporate world for a few years now, and I've had to realize that people don't start working at their dream company or doing their dream role. It's a process, a grind, and a dream just wouldn't be justified without having to go through the struggles to end up at the prized dream goal. And so I've had to teach myself this mindset, and I can honestly say it's only had positive effects on my work ethic and my mental health. Back in the day, Ford Motor Company was the first company to adopt a 5-day, 40 hours work week, which was done in order to give their employees a work-life balance, meaning they could spend that time outside their 9 to 5 doing recreational activities or spending time with their family. But if we look at the work culture now, it doesn't matter what country you're in. More and more people are actually working more than 40-hour work weeks, and the expectation is certainly higher in big corporate. Employers expecting employees to work overtime without pay was something that was unthinkable in the past, but now it is the norm. The lack of job stability is also a main factor as to why people are rethinking this 9 to 5 culture. Adam and I are both 25, and in our parents' generation, people would stay at the same company for 20, 30, 40 years. And job hopping at the time was seen as negative, because it portrayed you as unreliable and untrustworthy. But now it almost seems like a necessity because we're not getting the work-life balance that we hoped for. We're not getting the benefits that we want. And sometimes it's not even by choice. I am sure you know of someone who has been laid off after being loyal to their employer for many years, sometimes without income protection or redundancy pay. And this is never an easy pill to swallow. So that level of job stability that the previous generations had in the past no longer exists. And we can't talk about jobs without talking about why we all work, which is the main reason for some and an impactful byproduct for others, and that's for the money. You know, salaries and wages have been stagnated for the past few years. The average US pay raise in 2024 was roughly 3.5% when it was forecasted to be 4%, and the average US inflation for 2024 was 2.9%. So if we calculate the real return year on year using a simple example of earning, let's say $5,000 per month, equating to $60,000 per year, at the end of 2023, and you get a pay raise of 3.5%, which is lower than the averages of years before, your real return, which is taking inflation out of the equation, will equate to 0.58%. So you'll see your salary increases to $62,100 in your contract, thinking you now have an extra $2,100 to spend. But actually, taking inflation into account, your real increase goes to $60,348, giving you a measly $29 extra per month above inflation. I hope you understand now how to look at pay rises to see if your employer is pulling a fast one on you or not. Comment down below your experiences of pay rises last year. There are employers who pay a premium to the market to attract higher quality employees. Hence why, statistically speaking, people who job hop every year or two have more experience under their belt, and they aim to find these employers who are willing to pay a premium versus the market. This premium can range from 10, 20, 50% depending on the employer. These employees in one move will earn more than their usual pay rise from their current job, which we know to be 3.5% in 2024 in the US. Sure, if they stay another year, they might get an inflationary increase like the rest of us. But now the base salary that they're getting that 3.5% on, for example, the additional 10, 20, 50%, is netting them a lot more money. However, do this enough times and people will start seeing you for lack of loyalty. Your greed will likely catch up to you in the long run. There has got to be a 9 to 5 out there that ticks most of your boxes, provided that the standards you have set are realistic. I mean, I can already think of a few different jobs out there that I would be happy doing that tick my 9 to 5 realistic boxes I've set. There are different scenarios of a 9 to 5 for people though. There are people who choose big corporate jobs for the prestige, the money, the power, even though their job satisfaction might be low. There are people who volunteer at a non-profit for fulfillment of their passion. And while their job satisfaction may be high, their income and their ability to achieve financial freedom is low, although never zero. There are those that find a job that gives them enough satisfaction and enough pay to be happy and fulfilled. The point is, if you put the effort into identifying what you want in life and what you can achieve, then there is a 9 to 5 that exists out there within your plans. It's not as bad as it seems. This pro alone counteracts all the cons I mentioned earlier. And as you grow as a person, so do your standards. And there will be new jobs out there that tick your boxes. You just need to find them. One of the biggest misconceptions is the concept of following our passions and then turning that into a career. Because we're told if you do a job that you love, then you'll never have to work a day in your life. And while that may be true for some, it's much easier said than done. So here are some of my tips to leading a fulfilling life despite having a boring 9 to 5. First of all, there are always going to be aspects of your job that you have to do, even if you don't particularly enjoy them. I mean, if you enjoy building risk models and calculating people's life insurance, then you'll still have to do those dreaded admin tasks. And even if you're a sports presenter, you're going to have to watch hours of old footage and still have lots of paperwork to do. The point is that whatever you do, there's always that aspect of the job that you don't enjoy doing, but just has to be done. Secondly, in order to have a passion that pays the bill, it's got to be something first that's your passion, something that you love doing, and at the same time something that you are good at or relatively good at, and something that people are willing to pay money for. And on top of that, you've got to develop a business mindset and approach to turning this passion into something monetizable. It's honestly not something that everyone can get right, and I feel like it's more of a rarity than a commonality. But the good thing about a 9 to 5 is that it provides a stable income stream, as long as the company stays afloat. And so therefore, I feel like the better way to look at a 9 to 5 is to see it as the 40 hours you are there and all it encompasses allows you to have a stable income stream, which you can use to fund your passion on the side or business that you have an idea for, provided that you are financially ready to take that next step. If you want to know more about how to tell if you're doing well financially, then please hit that subscribe button and put post notifications on, as we'll be discussing that topic later in the series. There are tons of people who don't find entrepreneurship or running a business that interesting or desirable. And honestly, neither do I. Adam, on the other hand, really does, and maybe one day we'll start a company together. Anyways, so having a 9 to 5 and living a pretty fulfilled and content life is okay, and we shouldn't tie our identity to our 9 to 5. And if making money isn't the most important thing to you, then having a boring job has its perks, because it's likely filled with employees and managers who realize that a job is something people do to put food on the table. Because of this, they likely have an improved work environment. And there are also bonuses, stock awards, and retirement contributions, which are some other perks that you may not otherwise get. I also think we've been sold this dream of becoming an entrepreneur, of being your own boss and choosing not to work, or choosing to work 4 days a week only, which is still very much possible, but at the beginning stages of a business, There are a lot of sacrifices that have to be made, and most of it is resulting from your time and your money. That businesses take around 18 to 36 months to start making a profit. And even if you are making a profit, are you even going to be making enough money to pay yourself a decent salary? Majority of businesses actually fail in the first few years. So what I'm saying is the risks are actually quite high. And the truth is that a low percentage of people are actually able to start and scale their business into being successful. In essence, starting your own business means less time, money, and probability of success. But if you do stick through the tough times, then you can end up with a handsome profit. On the other hand, working a 9 to 5 gives you the evenings and the weekends off, and you're earning a predictable salary each month. Whereas if you start a business, you will end up working 24/7 because the more work you put in, the more you get out, and you're earning little to nothing in the beginning. At a job, you can set boundaries, and setting boundaries is a skill in and of itself, because at the beginning you feel guilty, but once you realize that a company's main objective is to turn a profit, then you'll see it in a different light. And I'll teach you how to take this into account to live a financially more fulfilling life. Let's say you're someone who works 50 hours a week and you get an annual salary of $75,000. That means your hourly rate is roughly $31 an hour. And that is the time that you contractually paid to do the work, before taxes obviously. That is not the only time required by your work. For example, your commute time or getting ready time. And let's not forget, sometimes you do extra hours and sometimes you might check your work emails on the weekend. So let's say all of those hours add up to around 1.5 hours extra per day. That means instead of getting paid $31 an hour, your actual pay is now $27. And what if you do 1 extra hour of unpaid overtime? Well, instead of getting paid $31 or $27 an hour, now you're actually getting paid $24.50 an hour. So the more time you spend doing these things, the less your real wage will actually be. And I'm not saying stop doing overtime completely. My advice would just be to do a sort of life audit. So looking at your commute, can I live any closer to work? Okay, that's unreasonable of me to ask. But in terms of your workload or your time management, are you doing things that don't yield a result, or that aren't urgent, or that aren't included in your performance review? So by having a boring 9 to 5, you can set boundaries to create the time to enjoy your passions and hobbies. You can still create wealth, and you don't have to take on the risks of starting a business. If you found any value in this video, please consider liking and subscribing. And we hope you'll join us in the next video of the series, where I'll teach you how to manage your hard-earned money from your 9 to 5. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.